Hey, welcome to the RS Nerd Herd podcast. We're a group of friends that grew up playing RuneScape together in our own separate styles, and we're here to talk about different aspects of both old school RuneScape and RuneScape 3. Join us noobs for a variety of different RuneScape topics. This is the RS Nerd Herd podcast.
So, jumping into everything that came out of Runefest, some of that's already in the game, but there was a lot to talk about from there. So, first off, let's jump into the things that kind of already have come out. The 110 Runecrafting. Has anyone really had much experience with that yet? Making like the expansive rune pouch or the masterwork staff or anything?
I made the pouch
69.
on my main.
Is it like double the space then? I think it was something like double the inventory space, wasn't it?
It's like 70. It holds 70. And I literally just did this last week. I'm always super late to updates. Like, I'm literally just doing the mining update right now. Like, I'm literally making the pickaxe on my main. But it holds 70, and I started doing time runes instead of souls, which obviously required a lot more clicking and not as much AFK. But it's fun. It's cool. I hate rune crafting, so it is what it is. But I haven't touched anything else, the offhand or something. I think that just came out. I don't know what that means, but I didn't do that.
The offhand from the Gate of Elidness boss. I think you get like almost like, I guess I don't know how it works. I know Thomas has dabbled with it a little bit, but I think it tells you what altar to go to, and if you keep doing that, I think like after so many times, I think you get like a large XP drop or something.
Tony explained it perfectly.
Like,
After 50
yeah.
runs, it gives you a large XP drop. It's pretty straightforward. Mostly it's just used for experience. It doesn't really it doesn't let you make whatever runes you want.
It's not on the same level as a memory dowser, that's for sure.
No. Our group is still missing the memory dowser. Both Tony and I have killed the Gate of Elidness. I'm not exactly sure how it's said. Several times, like several hundred times, and haven't gotten lucky there yet, but we're still working on that.
How many of the Runica tuners did you get?
I'm at 2. I think Tony got a book. I can't remember.
No, I got 1. So we have 3
Oh,
attuners between the two of us, and
It's okay.
you got 2 scriptures.
I do have 2 scriptures from the Gate of Elidness. Those scriptures are very nice. I did not realize that. I hadn't gotten one on my main ironman previous to the group ironman, and they're actually really handy for skilling.
So yeah, and then in terms of rune crafting, we got new runes. The time rune, I don't know if any of us have really messed with or dabbled with the spells, but it allows you to cast a new combat spell, some gathering spell that I believe it like reduces the experience you get while gathering, but doubles the progress that you get on your while gathering. So basically it's just for getting items quicker. And then a reset, like a time warp reset, that allows you to do weekly and monthly events more than once, and you can do that a certain amount of times. I think is it per month or per week? Yeah, but it allows you to basically reset things that are time limited. So anything that has a reset function on it, I'll pull up the exact. I know it works for archaeology research missions, player-owned port voyages, miscellanea. It advances the day forward. Same with Anachronia. And then it also works with like sandstone and crystal sandstone, where you can gather like doubles the amount you can gather a day. So I'm not sure if there are other things it can be used with, but like those I think are the main ones. It can be cast 3 times a week. You use it how you will, I guess. And it's 15 cosmics, 20 time runes. So yeah, new spells. And then I think there's also some teleports in the combat spell that was introduced, Crumble Undead. Is like 30% damage and accuracy buff to undead creatures, so you can use that with like a salve amulet and undead slayer perk and stuff to just absolutely decimate undead. I don't know if anyone's got some like secret tech they can use that for, but for like slayer or like XP farming, but you know, it's out there if you want to use that. Next on the docket is 110 crafting, coming out in June. Level 90 magic armor and new urns, along with level 100 masterwork magic armor. I'm not sure if anyone's planning on doing magic combat anytime soon, but that might be something to look into because they also have new abilities being added to the Masterwork equipment. So we're gonna see new abilities on Masterwork. I believe there's set effects for armor, and the weapons are going to have special attacks. So that might be something to look into. Maybe magic becomes the new meta again. And for me, I think I'm most excited about with crafting is new urns. If you're focusing on 200 mils or 99s or whatever, new ways to gain experience is always helpful. Thomas and I were talking when that was announced about what they could kind of do for the new urns, because I don't think they've, at least at the time, maybe they have now, but they haven't announced how they were going to be made. And I assume they probably wouldn't just be made with clay. If you're going above decorated, would you not want something like gem encrusted or something where you're going to have to use like sapphires, rubies, emeralds, topazes, and stuff like that to make the new urns? That was just something I was thinking could be useful in investing in if you thought like that was a possibility. Maybe make a little bit of money on the side. Is there anything with 110 crafting you guys would also want to see besides that? Because that's about the only things that we've heard about it was magic armor, masterwork, magic armor, and urns.
I can't think of anything at the top of my head, but with them expanding the skills to 110, I think it's long overdue that they increase the level cap. It just, so far what I've been seeing it like with wood cutting and stuff, like there's just a few things past 99, between 99 and 110 that are really being added at the moment. Hopefully they might add some more like later on down the road, but I feel like the magic armor and other stuff that they've announced, I think like that probably will be it for a while, I would think.
Yeah, and going a bit off the Runefest thing, I know with fletching, with the 110 fletching, it kind of like it needed a rebalance on the weapons. Like we can go up to rune and then you have these very weird like jumps in numbers. I think they said that they had plans to rebalance fletching and adding new like tiers in between to kind of make it match and line up along with mining and melee, so that range has like its own like equivalents in those like higher levels. It doesn't just stop at like magic in terms of bows you can make. So I guess if you were going to do something with crafting, that might be something to look at in terms of magic as well, to try to make sure that that's a smooth experience right when 110 comes out and it isn't like odd the way range is. That's the only thing like I would have. It's still only 10 levels, so it's like I don't know how much you want to add for those 9 levels of progress, but it should at least like feel like you're gaining something every time you level up. Next 110 they announced at Runefest was 110 Thieving, and we got absolutely nothing about it except that it's coming in winter. So not a lot to really discuss there, except for I guess maybe our own plans. Not plans, but our own ideas. Like, is there anything you guys want to see, or you just kind of wait and see in terms of the Thieving update?
I just assume that they'll be probably adding more NPCs to pickpocket, I guess, like they did with the garden area, but that's probably what I would expect to see.
It almost feels like safe cracking would have been the perfect thing to add to those higher levels as a like higher end version of Thieving, but since it's already out, I guess it doesn't really line up with making that the only method that you could do. I guess I would assume we'd see more safes to crack in some new areas as well, along with like maybe some new stalls to steal from as well. But
I would think it'd be cool to add another thieving mini game. Like, what's the one where you have to like get the juice or whatever?
Garden of
It's
Tranquility.
terrible. I hate it. But it would be cool if they like added some sort of like heist mini game or something. Because like maybe I'm mad at thieving because I don't have the pet, but I think there just needs to be something like more OP about it. I think it's just such a cool idea, but I do think that there should be like a fun mini game with rewards or something. What's the other one? Rogue's Den? Is that still a thing? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Is that thieving or agility? I can't remember.
Isn't it both? I don't know. There's so many mini games that I just don't do anymore. I'm trying to remember the garden that you're talking about. I know what it is. I just forget the name. The Garden of Tranquility is the quest.
Yeah.
Wait for someone to comment.
Just
Like Garden
the Sorcerer's Garden.
There it is, Sorcerer's Garden. Yes, that's the one. There's also what was
Pyramid
the heist?
Plunder. There's Pyramid Plunder. What the heck is heist? I don't even know what that is.
Heist is a hunter and thieving like mini game. Heist is a like hide and seek mini game, pretty much, where one group is hunting people and the other group is the thieves, and you like I've never done it, but it's basically like one group of people trying to find the thieves that are getting getting thieving experience, and the people that are searching for them are getting hunter XP.
But I would like to see thieving get like a good update, not just more things to pickpocket. I find that kind of boring. But
I definitely agree.
There has to be an alternative way to train it, I think.
Yeah, Pyramid Plunder is fairly unique, and I think that would be kind of cool, something like that, where you kind of go in and find some unique rewards as opposed to just like pickpocketing for standard supplies.
Mood out for 110 thieving. We have new invention tools, main hand, skilling tools for thieving and runecrafting, and then some new perks for mining, archaeology, and other like types of skills. We'll see how those are. I like the idea of getting more main hand equipment for skilling, especially if we could get one for divination that I can wear alongside a one-handed item I could wear alongside the memory dowser just to help me out a little bit on my main account for that. Be nice. Continuing right along, the new quests, Pharaoh's Folly and Eclipse of the Heart, the continuation and end of the Desert Trilogy and the Desert story as a whole, or the Amascut Trilogy. I think it started at the beginning of the year with Beneath Skabara's Sands. I didn't do that quest either, so like it's one of the few quests I haven't done on my main. Haven't done like any quest on the group. Eclipse of the Heart coming in July, and then moving into probably the biggest update of the year, the Amascut Boss fight coming in August. And going through the bullet points on that, the boss fight can be done solo, but it's optimal to be done in teams up to 5. And like the Sanctum of Rebirth, it'll have a normal and a hard mode. Normal mode will work the same as with Sanctum, where you get more than one life. I will be very thankful for that, because in the learning process, I die a lot, and it helps me learn the mechanics to not have to entirely restart a fight when I die, that I get to like see the later stages of a fight afterwards. I know I had a lot of trouble with Raksha when I'd mess up one time and die and then have to start everything over. Just frustrating. Yeah. So I like having that rebirth mechanic.
I was just experiencing that with my group Ironman going to Osseous, the undead matriarch.
Yeah.
I kept dying so many times, and then when I finally got through the one spot I was stuck on, I was able to get kills consistently. But it would be nice to have like extra lives when you're learning stuff. That would be great.
Yeah, so the Sanctum, I really liked that learning phase for normal mode that gives you 3 lives, and seeing it show up with the Amascut will be nice. And then, like Sanctum again, in hard mode, you'll get 1 life and greater rewards. So if you're like Tony and a PVM master, you can jump right in the hard mode and get the team all the drops. It is a group boss, so maybe some of us are going to have to pull our weight for that boss fight if we want to get some of those rewards. But at least it goes up to 5 players. There's one big change that will be coming out with this boss fight, which I think will probably be our big discussion topic for it. The World First Race. So what that... Guys, I'm glad you asked. The World First Race is a special mode that will need to be completed by any team before normal mode and hard mode unlock. So in order for us to do normal mode, we have to wait for the World First Race to conclude. And one of the other teams, mind you, this special mode is supposed to be harder than hard mode from what they were saying, or at least what I was getting from what they were saying. Maybe I misinterpreted it. But
I got that too.
Yeah, harder than hard mode, and will need to be completed by a team before anyone else can learn the boss fight. And it will be a big, they're planning to make it some kind of event. So a live streams, like teams racing to compete. And if you're able to defeat the boss in this like special mode release week or weekend during the time period that this World First Race is going on, they didn't necessarily say the first team to finish it. But if you're one of the teams that clear it, then you will get a special title in game to like recognize your accomplishment, which I think is really cool. And coming from being a Destiny player and dabbling in like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14, these world first races are really cool to see in those games. But generally, world first races in those types of games are entire raids, and they're like very, very long events that are streamed over like a 24-hour to like a 1 week period, where these teams are trying to like learn multiple boss fights and like puzzles and things like that. And I know Thomas, you've dabbled in Destiny and some world first race stuff, I assume. So like, is that tend to be the experience you've had with them, like from what you know?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of like teams trying to put together, a lot of people trying to put together teams in the first like 24 hours, but there'll be preset teams of like major streamers and major content creators that push through and end up being the ones that get the first kill in these raids. But like you said, they are raids, many boss fights, take several hours. I think the shortest one was like 18 hours for Destiny that I saw. So it'll be interesting to see RuneScape try and do a world's first world's first kill. Hopefully it's not just over in like 10 minutes. I hope it is actually challenging for people, but people are like major PVMers in this game are insanely cracked. They're very good. I don't know how much they'll struggle with it. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to watch it. I'm excited for it when it does come out though.
Yeah, exactly. That was kind of the feeling I was getting, is that I know with like Destiny and stuff, like the players are cracked. They're really good, but just the way the mechanics in that game work and the puzzles that go on in these boss fights, where it's like you can't progress unless you do like this insane amount of like puzzle solving in the middle of a boss fight or the middle of an encounter before you're able to damage the boss. It lends to like this like almost like the crack the clue type of like puzzle solving like you had to do. Unless RuneScape does something like that, which I think, mind you, would be really cool to see in a boss fight, like having to like solve puzzles.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work, and maybe that is exactly what their plan is, because I feel like players would absolutely, if it's straight up just a DPS check or a boss mechanic check, give it an hour and the players will have it figured out. Anyone got anything to say about the world's first race? Do you think you're gonna watch it? Do you want to participate in it, or
I think
anything
we're
of
gonna
the
win.
sort?
That's what
You
I
think
think.
we're gonna win?
Hell yeah.
Are you officially throwing your glove down? Are we joining this?
Yeah. I don't know
We're
what
doing
we're
it.
joining, but we're doing it. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna the world's first race. We're gonna compete to be the first team to defeat the hardest content RuneScape's ever had.
Yep. I mean, honestly,
All right.
like, what better team? Look at us. Like, come on. Why are
Do
you
these other
laughing?
teams have a? Dude, I'm saying these other teams, they don't have a podcast like us, right?
Dude, they ain't like us. We're gonna win.
All right. So it sounds like we're going to be competing in this world first race too. So look out for that.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely be watching it myself if I'm not in the middle of participating.
Which you will be.
Which it sounds like I will be. As for the rewards, I brought it up a bit earlier, but there is a set of magic power armor based on Amascut. I think they said tier 90 power armor. There's also 2 weapons, a necromancy arm guard and a melee 2 reach weapon. So another like halberd style, and it's tier 95.
Nice.
And I think it looks really cool. I wish I had pulled up a picture and saved it, but I'm sure we could do something about that for people. Throw a picture in the description, or maybe Kelly can just pop it up right here.
Editing, Kelly. We'll do it.
And how did I say that a Amascut boss fight was going to be the biggest thing we talked about? Because I forgot about Havenhyth.
The
Probably
hell
the-
is that?
Sorry, what was that, Kelly?
I said, what the hell is that?
Havenhyth. So
It's a vampire.
I'm just going to ask Kelly.
That sounds
is
like a
this
beer,
your
dude. That sounds like a straight up cold brew. Like get out of the fridge. What did you just say? Havenhyth? Yo, let me get a
Havenhyth.
Havenhyth, please. Like, that sounds like a brew.
You're not
So,
wrong. I didn't notice that till now, but you're absolutely right.
Havenhyth is the new area expansion that's east of Mortania. So we'll be getting, and this is coming from the sounds of it, winter 2026. The information we've got on it thus far is that Inanna is a guardian of Gothics and the protector of the area. And Havenhyth is a peaceful, or generally peaceful area, but a new breed of vampires have started appearing in the area, and we are summoned there to go all vampire hunter on the area, basically figure out what's going on, hunt these vampires down. In the area, we're going to get more information on the original vampires, look into the lost first age of Gielinor, the time before the first, so really it's the 0th age of Gielinor, the lost first age, which took place before the first age and involved ancient gods before Saradomin and Gothics, Saradomin and Zamorak, and the rest of the pantheon started meddling with the affairs. And we're going to get a deeper look into Vampirium, the home world of the vampires as well, through a portal that is in Havenhyth. This looks like a long-running, multi-year expansion that's going to expand the world out to the east. Kind of the way Prif and stuff did to the west. They also talked about 110 Hunter being introduced into the area. Again, more vampire-themed story and quest lines that are going to bring us to a new world through that portal in Havenhyth into Vampirium itself. More Slayer creatures, more Slayer bosses, and all that vampire-themed.
Gross. I hate the vampire questline. I think I was just telling you guys that. It's like my least...
You were.
It's like my least favorite thing to do. I hate Mortania, whatever the heck it's called. Swampletics gave me nightmares. He's a great content creator, but I hate that area of RuneScape. Hate vampires. Hate everything about it. Although, that name slaps. And what's the name that you said? Onana or something?
Inanna.
That is like a Rihanna song. I just started singing Rihanna. Like,
Inanna. What's your name?
Yeah, like that's what I was singing. So like that name's pretty cool. I like the idea of expanding the map. I enjoy that. But the vampire thing, I ain't about that unless it's like Edward Cullen. I don't really care.
Oh, Tony liked. All right. Well,
Not anymore.
Tony likes Edward Cullen? Okay.
Wow, he was a Twilight.
I liked Twilight when it
fan
first
back in
came
high
out.
school.
And now I think it's a dumb movie. I'll watch it. I'm just saying, like, they're cheesy.
Anyway, I will say about, they did have like photos, or I shouldn't say photos, but like art from the area, and it doesn't look entirely like what you'd expect from Mortania. It's a lot more green, a lot more like seaside village type of theme to it. Like, it's very green and foresty in the main area where we originally will be landing in Havenhyth. And then as you move farther and farther east, it becomes more and more vampire themed. So it has a gradual transformation, which seems to be like, as the quests come out, we'll be expanding into area by area, like slowly moving into these other areas. So it won't be like an immediate, you're dropped into a gross, dark, desolate vampire themed place, but more you're going to start out in like an Ashdale style theme.
Okay.
Or like at least where it's more bright, and then slowly watch it as it becomes darker and darker as you get farther and farther from civilization. That's kind of what I got from the photos. They also had brought up there'd be a new archaeology dig site. We're going to be getting, and again, they made the same joke I'm going to make. It's not a new dig or a new archaeology because it's all old stuff from the first stage that you're going to learn. We're going to get more lore through the archaeology site. I would assume, because they talked about how the first city of the vampires where this portal is, called Sharuk Ba, is filled with magic, blood magic specifically. We may see an expansion into the blood spells in some way. That's just my own like headcanon though. There was nothing about that specifically. But is there anything you guys want to see them do with this new area expansion? Because it basically opens the floodgates to do so much, I think. Having new areas that aren't locked down to any current lore of the game. So much is like open to us. Is there anything you guys want to see? Hey, if you're doing this, I really want this implemented into the game. So I know they talked about One-Ted Hunter. I'd like to see some of the skills go up in the new area as well as we get new like branches of stuff unlocked. I think since we're getting a whole new like expanse into the portal into Vampirium and bosses and Slayer creatures, it wouldn't be a bad idea for this to be the time combat goes up to 110.
Yeah.
And it also adds the option for all new types of equipment into the game because you're entering a new area. You can have new hunter gear used to craft ranged weapons and new trees used to craft new arrows and bows and new ore used to craft the opportunities are there to expand the combat system with it. So I would like to see those opportunities taken advantage of.
New
Personally.
monsters into new summoning creatures.
Ooh,
I
love that.
Yes, exactly. You could do so much with it. And then even with like the new, like you could introduce new prayers and stuff because you're going to have like an ancient god that we've never heard of. Like it wouldn't be surprising to hear that this god has a tie to Vampirium and the original vampires, the true vampires, and get prayers through that aren't tied to Zeros or Saren or Guthix or anything.
I think this is a great opportunity to bring in another elite dungeon, maybe like vampire based. That'd be pretty sick. As always, I like group content, so it'd be cool if they like somehow introduced a group hunter. Like, I always wish that big game hunter you could do with multiple people. I think that would be kind of cool if they did something like that, because I don't really like playing this game by myself. So I would like something like that.
I could even see them having the opportunity to expand Vampirium and turn that into a new dungeon. Like, straight up dungeon. Like we have for Daemonheim, but this time you're delving into Vampirium, and this portal being a volatile portal, maybe it doesn't send you to the same place every time you enter it, and so you enter the portal and you end up in a random part of Vampirium, and you end up in this like random expanse that you need to explore and find a boss at the end, kill it, and escape. There's so many ways you could expand like all of the skills with this, and it would be really fun to do. I think open the book of every skills available to try to do here. I would be upset if they brought this whole new expansion in and only like half the skills were available to do in it, like of any real consequence. Like I feel like all the skills should have like new content added with it.
I don't really like the updates that like introduce a new area and all it is like you get another farming patch or you get another sandstone rock to mine. It would be cool just for different content, not just more of the same.
I guess what I'm looking at it more is like the way other games do like expansions, like full-blown expansions. It's like, a whole new area of content is added and everything in the game expands with it. I kind of would like to see that instead of just piecemeal. I think this is an opportunity to do that. And we still have one last thing for 2025 to talk about, and that is leagues. And I know none of us here are real old school players, but anyone from the old school community can tell you just how popular leagues is and how the game sees massive booms in popularity every time a new leagues comes out. And in fact, the Fresh Start Worlds were basically just Leagues 0.5 for RS3. I feel like most people who have experienced them both would tell you that it was just a simplified version of Leagues. And so seeing a full League drop will be interesting. I believe they talked about that it would be tied to your main account this time, that you wouldn't have to make a new account for it. Someone in the comments maybe will correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I feel like in one of their leagues discussion they did at a later show or a later part of the Runefest, they talked about how they didn't want to force you to make a new account. You could use your quote-unquote main account in the league servers.
Or maybe
I like that
more focused
idea.
on paying for a new account. Like you don't have to pay for a new account.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
tied to your main account.
Yes, you didn't have to buy a new account just to play in the league server.
Exactly.
It was, yeah. So
Well,
you
'cause-
weren't not forking out more membership.
Is that how old school is, where they have to pay for it? Because like
I don't
league
think it
accounts
is.
don't even. I was gonna say league accounts don't even. They get deleted, I think, afterwards.
Exactly, and I think it's working in that regard because they're completely. It's a completely different game. So I guess for people who aren't familiar with leagues, is anyone here not familiar with how leagues works in old school?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So I'll do my best, and mind you, I'm not an expert on old school content at all. But the way leagues essentially works is there's a theme for each event, and the rules of it will rotate and change depending on what the event is. But you generally have increased accelerated drop rates, increased experience rates, and some type of like mechanic similar to either a relic system that we have for archaeology, but on a much more overpowered basis. So like let's say every 1,000 levels you get to unlock a new perk. And these perks are going to define how you play the game. So like if you want to unlock a combat perk that does whenever you use magic spells, you do 75% more damage or something. You can unlock that if you want to really focus on doing magic combat. Or you can do a skilling perk that does X, Y, and Z when you gather materials. You get these perks that allow you to build your account however you want to play it for the league, and you kind of compete against yourself and against others to try to build an account and like race for whatever it is you might be wanting to race for in these new worlds. It's sometimes they're area locked, so you can have to gain a certain amount of levels before you can unlock the next area. But that'll also mean like certain areas of the game are completely locked off to you by the end. So you can never enter Mortania if you don't want to. But that also
Love
means
that.
all quest rewards and everything in Mortania is also locked out to you.
Fine. Don't care. Hate that place.
So and that's what Leagues is. It's a fun, unique way to play the game for a few months at a time, and then like you compete against other players, and at the end of it everyone gets their little fun rewards and call it a day. But yeah, experience rates are increased, drop rates are increased. Just it's a game mode made to have fun. There normally are also like other rewards, I believe, that come with it. This part I'm not 100% on, but I thought there was like other rewards you could earn based on how much like you played it, how many challenges you were able to do. And that's kind of the other thing. There's like challenges a lot of the times in these. So it'll be like you have to get like 2,000 challenge points in order to unlock your next upgrade. And the challenges would be kind of like the way achievement or kind of like achievements that we have, but they're specific to the game mode. You're achievement hunting as well during these events. But you get rewards based on how much you complete of it. And then those rewards can be like cosmetics that come over to the main game. So I believe that's also planned to come with it, but we'll see exactly what it is. Because I know with the last group of cosmetics, there were some people that were not upset or were upset that they couldn't get them. And then they didn't come back into the game in the method or in the timeliness that Jagex implied they would come into the game. That was definitely a fumble on Jagex's part that they probably should look into not doing with leagues this time for RS3. Think you'll participate in leagues at all? Anybody?
I might, depending on if there's going to be like any kind of particular rewards or titles or something. I might, because I've never played leagues before, so I might once see how it is.
I think if it doesn't require starting a new account, I'd love to try it. I will definitely say I'm getting fatigued of starting new accounts. So
It's like everyone will start out at level 1 or whatever, assuming there isn't some rule to the league that says you get to pick one skill that starts at 99 or something. Yeah, it won't be a new account that you'll have to pay for. If I have to pay for it, then I absolutely am not doing it again.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch y'all next time right here on the RS Nerd Herd podcast.